My name is Anthony Visco, and I'm a church artist. And by that I mean I'm a dedicated vocational artist for the Catholic Church. I think the purpose of all devotional art is that, number one, it offers a sense of presence of the otherworldly. The second is, through that sense of presence, we can gain some sense of witness, and that witness is both personal and communal. And this is very, very different in Catholic art. It's not like everybody going to a museum and seeing something or getting something different from a work of art. We hope we're feeling the same thing or receiving the same thing, both individually and communally. It's very, very different than other art forms. It's never really about oneself. The secular world is always looking at arts. What did he or she have in mind? And we can't afford to do that as church artists or vocational artists. We are afforded a bit of invention and a role as creator, but not the creator. This is the creation imitating the creator. In fact, I remember when we were in grade school, the good sisters would tell us never to say the word created, that we created something. Now we're hearing it all the time. I created this, I created space, I created interest. It's amazing. I can't use it. We can't create from nothing. Only God can create from nothing. We must create from something that was provided to us through grace of God. A lot of times people will say, oh, you're so talented, or this or that, and I always have to say, I didn't give this to me. I could not have possibly have given this to myself. But I do have the responsibility to use the talent. I don't want to wind up, standing there in front of St. Peter or whatever, and then say, did you use the gift? And realize that there was a part of it I didn't use. That's frightening to me. When people say, where do you get your sense of composition from? I say two sources, anatomy and landscape. When I look at landscape, it's got this ongoing thing. It's got these seasonal changes. It's wondrous in a way that it just continues. Whereas the body, we're given a certain responsibility over it in terms of maintenance and things like that, and we understand it in a way. But both of them, in terms of design, have this innate sense of inevitability that it's supposed to look that way. When I think of things that I find inspirational, for me it's always the reception of communion. The part receives the whole. The part receives the whole. The part receives the whole. And it's of course you can't comprehend that, but it's a good post-Eucharistic prayer. Watching other communicants say the part receives the whole. If there's one thing a church should be, we should walk in and see the harmony of parts. The symbolism of something like the altar in particular, that we are the church triumphant, the church militant, and the church suffering. That it's not a simple modernist chopping block, nor is it just a table, and nor is it just a tomb. It's representative of those three aspects of the church. Bring it all together and make what is hopefully a seamless garment. Again, we tie right back into the body, because we find out that this body of Christ, this architecture, the symbol of the body of Christ is right there. And how do we line all this up together so we can keep getting closer and closer and closer and better and better and better to that moment in the tabernacle? If there's any singular piece of advice I could give to anyone interested in being a church artist, would be not to allow yourself to be dissuaded in any way by art history or secular culture, in that this art belonged to a period. These are not pages from the art history books. So often it's portrayed that way. So here you walk into these churches and there's real Catholic art, and there's candles in front of it and flowers in front of it and people are kneeling in front of it, and you say, oh my God, these things are still alive. This was not something that passed in time. These are living things that people are still using. They're being described in secular terms. They're not being described in terms of the content and the theology. The young Catholic artist has to put that back in if they really want to do this. But please don't be dissuaded, because it just, we don't have the time. You know, we need these people to get to work. The vineyards are ready.